then we don't want to, then I'll just chop out everything that we need to chop out. Okay. So you can just kind of, I think I'll just record this whole thing and then I can just cut whatever. So maybe if you want to do your first welcome and intro, and then we can take a pause and then you can do the next one.
All right, here I'm gonna put this on. I'm gonna move this to here. So I'm looking at the camera and the notes. So I'm not seeing myself. No, which feels weird. Can I actually put myself to the side really quick here? Can I move this over here? So I don't need that. This is what I need. And I'm still looking at the camera. Oh man, see, I'm not good with makeup or.
Great.
I should have, I have a friend, the woman who does my eyelashes is a makeup artist, and she came in and, oh, that reminds me, did all of our staff pictures and our staff group picture. And I should have been like, yo, Mary, help me out today. All right.
All right.
Okay.
All right, I get out of here and then just give it like 10 seconds. So, because I noticed when I cut Elizabeth's, I was still like barely in it. So yeah, just give it a sec before you start.
Welcome to the module. My name is Tamara Lee, and I'm the Minnesota State Librarian and Director of State Library Services and Expanded Learning for the Minnesota Department of Education. This course has been created by the Minnesota Libraries Professional Learning Network as a resource for anyone who is interested in Minnesota libraries to learn about the values, organizations, services, and support that works to ensure the highest level of service and access to information for all Minnesotans. Minnesota libraries are amazing, and all Minnesota libraries, public, school, academic, and special, are connected in so many ways. Through library values, through resource sharing, and through professional networking and support. As you work through the upcoming modules, you will encounter the many organizations, people, and structures that support libraries in Minnesota. Remember that we are all here to help one another, and feel free to reach out to any of the organizations or libraries that you encounter in the course if you'd like to learn even more about its services and functions. Can I pause there for a second?
Absolutely.
How was that?
That was great. Yeah.
Okay.
That'll be.
Should I lift up my notes so I look a little bit more like I am facing the camera, or because I feel like I'm.
No, it looked absolutely good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was good. You could maybe lower the camera so there's a little less space on top of your head, I suppose.
Okay.
But no, your eyes were great. You didn't look like you were looking around or anything.
Okay. Is that a little bit lower? Is that?
Yeah, that's good.
Is that good? It's a weird little camera thing that's attached. Okay.
Oh yeah, I need to get out.
This is a brief introduction to orient you to the roles and responsibilities of state library services and to our current strategic, oh shoot, I'm sorry, start over, block or whatever. All right. This is a brief introduction to orient you to the roles and responsibility of state library services. What is state library services? State Library Services is a unit of the Libraries and Expanded Learning Division of the Minnesota Department of Education. Our responsibilities, according to Minnesota statutes 2021, section 134.31, fall into 5 categories. 1, library service, the administration of state and federal funds to support the provision of library service for every citizen. 2, advice and instruction, to act as a consultant to libraries or their governing bodies and as requested other entities such as school districts or nonprofits regarding the development, organization, maintenance, and administration of libraries. 3, library resources, to develop, provide, or encourage the sharing of library resources and interlibrary cooperation. 4, public library statistics, to collect annual statistics on the usage and funding of public libraries and regional public library systems. And 5, services to people with visual and physical disabilities, to provide specialized library services to people with print disabilities through the Minnesota Braille and Talking Book Library. Our methods for carrying out these responsibilities tend to follow one of these two paths. 1, administering state aid, state grants, and federal aid to public libraries, and 2, coordinating learning opportunities for librarians. The only direct public service provided is through the Minnesota Braille and Talking Book Library. Can I pause here?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like I'm starting to sound really froggy.
Yeah, we've got to get you while you're good. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Role as State Library Administrative Agency. State Library Services is recognized by the Institute of Museum and Library Services, or IMLS, as the State Library Administrative Agency for the state of Minnesota. IMLS is a federal agency that makes grants, conducts research, and develops policy for the improvement of library and museum services in the United States. Under the Federal Library Services and Technology Act, or LSTA, IMLS distributes federal funds. I'm sorry, can I start over? I don't know, is it? Starting over. I'm sorry, am I just like a diva? I feel so diva-ish. I'm sorry, Anne. All right. Role as State Library Administrative Agency. State Library Services is recognized by the Institute of Museum and Library Services, or IMLS, as the State Library Administrative Agency for the state of Minnesota. IMLS is a federal agency that makes grants, conducts research, and develops policy for the improvement of library and museum services in the United States. Under the Federal Library Services and Technology Act, or LSTA, IMLS distributes federal funds to state library administrative agencies through a program called Grants to States. State Library Administrative Agencies, or SLAAs, are positioned in different ways in different states. While 31 SLAAs are located within state agencies such as the Department of Education or state administration, the other 20 operate as independent agencies as part of the state legislature. Minnesota State Library oversees funding of $4.25. Sorry, pause. Minnesota State Library Services oversees funding of $4.25 per capita. Only 18 SLAAs handle more dollars per capita. However, Minnesota State Library Services ranks 48 out of the 51 SLAAs in terms of total staff. This is in part because in Minnesota, many of the statewide functions commonly managed by an SLAA, like maintaining a statewide library catalog, coordinating interlibrary loan delivery, providing statewide access to databases and ebook collections, and developing a statewide digital archive, are managed by Minitex. I wanted to get that in there. I'm just taking a break, sorry. The Minnesota Braille and Talking Book Library. One important program of the The Minnesota Braille and Talking Book Library. One important program of State Library Services is the Minnesota Braille and Talking Book Library, or MBTBL, located in, oh shoot, I'm so sorry, Anne, I'm sorry, I need to pause here. I know that I made a correction here, but I might not have saved it because I was saying, look, because I'm cribbing from the report that I had to do for when we were doing our 5-year plan. And I know I corrected this in my notes, but did I pull over the wrong thing? So I was saying located in Faribault, Minnesota.
Oh. Yeah, now it's,
Okay, one important program of the State Library Services, the Minnesota Braille and Talking Book Library, or MBTBL. Since I don't need to say where it is. Since 1933. Yeah, that's right. To Minnesota
but it is at State Library Services now, right?
Yes, it is. It's in Minneapolis in the same building as State Library Services.
Yeah.
Um, okay. All right. Yeah. I knew that I don't know what I did. There might be a surprise upcoming. I think I just pulled over the wrong document that I was working on. All right. All right. Ready?
Wait, let me get out, but yeah, so you're gonna just start over at the Braille and Talking Book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Minnesota Braille and Talking Book Library. One important program of State Library Services is the Minnesota Braille and Talking Book Library, or MBTBL. Since 1933, MBTBL has provided specialized statewide public library service to Minnesotans of all ages with a print disability. It is the only public library in the state that reports to a state agency. MBTBL works in partnership with the Library of Congress, National Library Service for the Blind and Print Disabled, or NLS. NLS administers a free national library program for individuals who, because of a print disability, cannot read standard print material. NLS selects and produces full-length books and magazines in audio and in Braille that are distributed to a network of designated libraries throughout the United States. MBTBL also provides access to a large print book and descriptive video. Oh, I'm sorry. Pause. This is the second part of MBTBL. MBTBL also provides access to large print books and descriptive videos through donations to its gift fund. These materials are then circulated to eligible. I'm so sorry. Okay. MBTBL also provides access to large print books and descriptive videos through donations to its gift fund. These materials are then circulated to eligible individuals or institutions through the U.S. mail or electronically via mobile apps or the web. Caregivers, educators, school districts, and students receive information and support from MBTBL. Preschool through adult level materials are available. All services are free of charge, including postage costs to mail materials to patrons and return them to the library. The library also partners with other state agencies to provide this specialized public library service: the Communication Center, State Services for the Blind in St. Paul, inventories and repairs the specialized playback equipment provided by the NLS and loaned to MBTBL patrons throughout the state. The library contracts with the Utah Regional Library to provide Braille service to its patrons.
How's your voice doing?
Okay, I'm starting to feel a little froggy. I should have maybe brought a or something. Okay. All right, so I think I just have funds administered by State Library Services. Oh. Can we pause for just a second? I do need to fix that number.
There we go. Okay, I'm resumed and then I will leave here. Okay.
Funds administered by State Library Services. State appropriations. State Library Services administers 3 state aid programs: Regional Library Basic System Support, or RLBSS, Regional Library Telecommunications Aid, or RLTA, and Multi-County Multi-Type System Aid, or MCMT. RLBSS, or Regional Library Basic System Support, is funded by the state legislature at $17.57 million, provides operating aid to the 12 regional public library systems. It is distributed using a formula that factors in the size of the system service areas, the system's population, and the system's tax capacities. The regional public library systems are also the direct recipient of RLTA, or Regional Library Telecommunications Aid, a program subsidizing internet service costs remaining after federal discounts are applied. Funded at $2.3 million annually, RLTA funds may additionally be used to maintain internal telecommunications infrastructure and invest in other essential technologies, technology service, and digital resources. Last, Multi-County Multi-Type Aid provides $2 million in operating aid to the 7 multi-county multi-type systems. Like RLBSS, Multi-County Multi-Type Aid is distributed using a formula focused on population and service area. In addition to these aid programs, State Library Services also administers $2.75 million each year through the Legacy Amendments Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund, or ACHF. This fund is distributed by SLS to the 12 regional public library systems for the purpose of providing educational opportunities in the arts, history, literary arts, and cultural heritage of Minnesota. Funds administered by State Library Services. Federal LSTA funds. State Library Services sets the direction for the use of LSTA funding, or Library Services and Technology Act funding, by creating a strategic plan every 5 years as required by the State Library start over. Funds administered by State Library Services. Federal LSTA, or Library Services and Technology Act funds. State Library Services sets the direction for the use of LSTA funding by creating a strategic plan every 5 years as required by State Library Services. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm just tripping over myself. Okay. Funds administered by State Library Services. Federal Library Services and Technology Act, or LSTA funds. State Library Services sets the direction for the use of LSTA funding by creating a strategic plan every 5 years as required by the Library Services and Technology Act. In developing this plan, State Library Services identifies Minnesota Library's current needs and seeks to align with the strategic priorities of the Minnesota Department of Education, as well as the purposes and priorities outlined in the LSTA. These funds are administered through the form of, sorry. Okay. One more time. This should be the golden one. Funds administered by State Library Services. Federal Library Services and Technology Act funds. State Library Services sets the direction for the use of library services and Technology Act funding by creating a strategic plan every 5 years, as required by the Library Service and Technology Act. In developing this plan, the State Library Services identifies Minnesota Library's current needs and seeks to align with the strategic priorities of the Minnesota Department of Education, as well as the purposes and priorities outlined by the LSTA. These funds are administered through competitive and targeted grant opportunities to all types of libraries in Minnesota. Maybe that's not true. One more time. Many library types is what it should say. Funds administered by State Library Services. Federal Library Services and Technology Act funds. State Library Services sets the direction for the use of LSTA funding. One more time. Funds administered by pause. Please don't put that up anywhere.
Almost there.
Almost there. Almost there.
All right.
Okay. I think I got it. Funds administered by State Library Services. Federal Library Services and Technology Act, or LSTA funds. State Library Services sets the direction for the use of LSTA funding by creating a strategic plan every 5 years as required by the Library Service and Technology Act. In developing this plan, State Library Services identifies Minnesota Library's current needs and seeks to align with the strategic priorities of the Minnesota Department of Education, as well as the purposes and priorities outlined in the LSTA. These funds are administered through competitive and targeted grant opportunities to most library types in Minnesota. That's all I got until potentially a different module on the 5-year plan.
Love it. Okay. That's great.
That's a lot of editing on your part. I'm so sorry. I
Okay.
can, if you decide, or if we decide together, or if other people weigh in and say this could be better, I honestly don't mind doing it again, and I can refine more. I'm really sorry about that number. It was just like bugging me, and I had the right numbers for the other things. I don't know why. I just had that like mental glitch with, you know, but I could definitely refine all of the things that we went through. And
I think it's going to be great. And I think this is a homegrown effort, and I don't think it has to be, you know, like, yeah, NBC, George Stephanopoulos quality.
Which is what I always strive for. I love that George Stephanopoulos. Oh,
oh yeah. All right. Oh,
So-
thank you so much. This is great, and it will be fun to edit it, and I'll let you see it when it's done. And yeah,
all
I have
right.
a few days off now, so.
Excellent. Enjoy your time in Philadelphia. I hope your daughter does well. I hope you get an opportunity to relax.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Have a good, well, weekend's coming up. Yeah.
Thank you. Take
All right.
care.
Talk to you later.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.